Good afternoon. Today I'd like to look at a subject of edifying other people. In life, we realize that when a person builds something, it takes a lot longer than to destroy something. I think of 9/11 and the Twin Towers. I mean, those Twin Towers took some years to build, and then look, in just a few minutes, they were destroyed. And that's what happens in people's lives. So often, people are destroyed and hurt by others because of their words. And too often, we live in a society where people love to tear down other people. We see it in the political realm. We see it in the Christian realm. We see it at school. We see it at work. Everywhere we go, we see people who are dedicated to tear down the lives of other people. But as a Christian, our goal is not to tear people down. Our goal is to build them up. It says in Ephesians 4:11, "Wherefore comfort yourselves together and edify one another, even as also ye do." In other words, Paul is saying to the church at Ephesus, build one another up. And how wonderful our churches would be, how wonderful our society would be if people decided to be builders instead of destroyers. And so I'd just like to share 6 things that I observed that would tell us what are the qualifications of a person who builds others up. What kind of person do you and I need to be a builder of others? And the first thing I thought of is that if you're going to build others up, first of all, you have to have a love for the Lord and for others. Love is what enables us to build other people up. Yes, sometimes we have to correct somebody we love, that parents and children and other situations, but the attitude is one of love. And if you and I are to be builders of others, first of all, we have to love the Lord and we have to love others. And love is something that we struggle with sometimes. Love is seeking the betterment of others without having a motive, my own personal reward. And so if we're going to build up other people, we need to learn to love God and to love other people. But secondly, if we're to build up other people, we need to have a humble spirit. I think pride is shown so clearly in people's lives because they love to tear down others so that they can build themselves up. But humility says, I will put myself low so that I can build others up. Humble yourselves in the sight of the Lord, and he will lift you up. We don't have to lift ourselves up. And that's the problem. Too many people are so busy lifting themselves up that they have no time or love or effort to lift other people up. So if you and I are to be an edifier of others, a builder of others, we are to have a humble spirit. But thirdly, we need to learn how to use our tongue. The tongue is a fire. It's a world of iniquity, and many a person has been destroyed by the tongue. But our tongues can be used for good. Just like fire can be used for good. Yes, fire can destroy things, but fire is great to cook. Fire is great to heat. And you and I can use our tongue to be a blessing to others. We can use our tongue to say kind things to others. We can use our tongue to pray for others. And our tongue can be a great instrument in building others up, edifying them. And then in the fourth place, if we are to be a builder of others, we need to encourage them to walk in the Lord. Sometimes we encourage people to do the wrong thing. It's all right. You can get away with this, or you can do this. God will excuse you. No, we need to have the desire to have others develop their own walk with the Lord. Not every Christian is going to have everything the same as you are. And so we need to encourage them to develop a relationship, a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. And then in a fifth place, if we're to be a builder of others, we need to be sensitive to the needs of others. And we're so busy being sensitive to our own needs that's the reason why we can't build up others. But if we're to build up others, we need to be sensitive to the needs of others. Remember Jesus, he was always sensitive to the needs of others. He was sensitive to blind Bartimaeus, and he brought healing to him. He was sensitive to Zacchaeus, who was a lonely man, although he was rich, and he told him, I'm coming to your house. He was sensitive to that poor woman who had had 5 men put her aside, and now she was living with another man. And he showed compassion and sensitivity towards her. If you and I are to build up other people, we need to learn to be sensitive to the needs of others. And then in the sixth and last place, we need to learn to be patient with people. How can we build up other people if we have no patience? You know, I watch when houses are built. They're not built in a day. As the saying goes, Rome wasn't built in a day. Neither are we spiritually built in a day. Learn to be patient with other people. Learn to realize that God is working in their lives in a way that may be different than your own life. And so God has called you and me not to be a destroyer of people, but to be a builder of people. And here they are again. What causes us, or what are the characteristics of those who are builders of others? First of all, they have a love for the Lord and for others. Secondly, they have a humble spirit. Thirdly, they use their tongues to build up others. In the fourth place, they encourage others to develop their own walk with the Lord. In the fifth place, they are sensitive to the needs of others. And then in the sixth place, they're patient with other people. Long-suffering is a great fruit of the Spirit. I'm thankful for people in my life that have built my life up. And of course, I've felt others who have not built my life up. So may you and I be a builder of others. And, you know, it's always more, when you look at a wreck after something's been destroyed, there's nothing satisfying about it. But when you see something that you have built and you have taken time with, there's a certain sense of accomplishment. And when God uses us to build the lives of others, there's that sense of accomplishment that God has used us in this person's life for his glory. So let us be builders and not destroyers of others. May God bless you today, tomorrow, and the next day.